Your Majesties, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for always returning. Trust you and yours are well, and you're loving yourself and others like always. All right, this is gonna be a very quick one as usual. Burkina Faso had banned officially British legal wears and replaced it with traditional attire. This information, I brought it to you some months ago, and we talked about how they were in the process of producing this the robe that judges wear at courts, the robe that lawyers put on. What they did initially was to ban foreign fabric, ban importation of yarns, of cotton, or what have you. And they said that they are going to rely on what they have and use what they have. They have this cotton, they have everything at home. What is the essence of importing? So they ban it. Ibrahim Traore ban any type of fabric that is coming in to the country, and they have embraced their own. So as at that time, it was said that they were in the process of producing judges' attires, what the judges wear and how they dress. And I kid you not, that has been finalized. And as you can see, the judges are putting on homemade attires to court hearing.
Have you ever wondered how a nation's decision to reclaim its cultural roots could symbolize a bold step toward independence and sovereignty? Burkina Faso has shown the world just how powerful such a move can be by embracing a significant change within its justice system. In an era where decolonization is more than just a catchphrase, but a path to self-definition, the West African nation has taken a bold stride to leave behind the remnants of colonial influence. The adoption of locally made courtroom attire, crafted entirely from the traditional Faso d'Anfani fabric, has sparked conversations and admiration, reflecting an unyielding commitment to cultural authenticity and economic independence. This remarkable decision by Burkina Faso's judiciary is more than a mere change of clothing. It is a declaration of identity and resilience. The move to replace imported gowns, once worn by magistrates and clerks, with robes made from locally sourced materials, speaks volumes about the country's aspirations. The old robes, imported at exorbitant prices, some costing as much as 2 to 3 million CFA francs, are now being set aside for attire that is not only economically viable, but culturally resonant. The new garments, priced at around 150,000 CFA francs, present a cost-effective alternative that aligns with the country's push for financial prudence. It's not just about the savings. The choice of Faso d'Anfani, a fabric steeped in Burkinabe history and identity, symbolizes a deeper connection between the justice system and the people it serves. Every time a judge or magistrate dons this attire, it becomes a powerful reminder that justice in Burkina Faso is rendered on behalf of its citizens, embodying the nation's heritage. The fabric, woven from cotton cultivated by local farmers and crafted by skilled Burkinabe weavers, represents a return to roots and a celebration of indigenous craftsmanship. The adoption ceremony was attended by the head of the government and other officials, marking the significance of this transition. The visuals of government leaders supporting this initiative reinforce the narrative that Burkina Faso is charting its own course, one that defies the status quo and champions local industry. By opting for locally produced robes, the government is not only promoting cultural identity, but also taking tangible steps to stimulate the local economy. This shift ensures that funds remain within the country, boosting the livelihoods of cotton farmers, weavers, and other stakeholders involved in the production process. The historical context of wearing colonial robes in courtrooms is rooted in an era that sought to imprint foreign traditions on African soil. These imported garments, often seen as symbols of authority, carried with them the weight of a system that once sought to suppress local cultures. By shedding these robes, Burkina Faso is shedding a legacy that does not reflect its values or its journey. Instead, the country is embracing an attire that is authentically Burkinabe, adorned with symbols that resonate deeply with its people.
Every African country should adopt that. We should ban, there's some things that are just so simple to do. It doesn't require much argument, doesn't require much debate. It makes absolutely no sense that in Africa's most populated country, Nigeria, lawyers are still wearing wigs and gown. Why? Why? We are not white. There is no winter in Nigeria. The president of Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traore, recently abolished the wearing of wigs to court. Now, this is a British and a French colonization thing, right? Even in the Federal Republic of Nigeria and in a number of African countries, you will see lawyers wearing wigs and a gown. This is a colonial inheritance from colonial masters, right? It is connected with the British judicial system, the British colonial system. And because a lot of African countries and have adopted English and French law as the foundation of their judicial system, we have also unfortunately adopted this ridiculous ideology of wearing a wig and gown. So you're going to see people in 70, 80, 90 degrees heat, high humidity, wearing a wig and a gown, which is an ancient colonial ideology and ancestry.
Look at what they are putting on their head. Look at what they're putting on their body. This is how the Burkinabe lawyers and judges will be looking at from the time that this was passed into law and they started putting on this attire. Is this not beautiful, Your Majesties? See, the truth is that whether we accept it or we do not accept it, whether we like it or not, what Ibrahim Traore had done in Burkina Faso in this short period of time, all the democratic leaders that have been sitting on that position were unable to do it for 8, 10, 15 years that they might be in position. All the democratic leaders that have sat on Burkina Faso's leadership seats are unable to do it for all the years that they have sat there. This young man have achieved what they were unable to achieve. Is for a fact, and it is showing clearly. They now have their tomato factory. We had that discussion recently as well. They have their tomato factory. For those who are not aware of that, maybe I'm going to put a clip towards the end of the video. They produce their own tomato paste. They do not import any tomato paste anymore. They produce their own. A $12 million factory that was erected by Ibrahim Traore. The same young man that the whole world have insulted. The collective West have said he is too young to rule. Initially, that was what Macron was saying. Number two, that they were uneducated. Okay? Our African so-called democratic leaders said the same thing. This is the same man. They have their tomato factory. Apart from them having tomato factory, no, I'm just trying to list this thing in this short period of time that this man was able to put these things together. Within the short period of time. Your Majesties. Now Burkina Faso now couple their own military vehicles. Yes, they import parts, but they couple it now in their own country. Initially, they had to buy everything, like buy already made a military weapon vehicle. Now they only get the parts. Some of the parts they don't have. They couple military vehicles now. It was launched. They do that now for themselves. Your Majesties, there are projects that are ongoing as we speak in Burkina Faso. It is under the leadership of this same man that Burkina Faso experienced a bountiful harvest that they have not experienced for a very long time. With the initiative of Ibrahim Traore, they put in those initiatives and they harvested a lot. It was still under the regime of Ibrahim Traore. Still under his regime, a lot of things have changed. Under his rule, a lot of things have changed. This same man, time was due for him to step down. Burkinabe said, no, we want you to remain here forever. We discussed that here. a lot of good news coming from the Sahel. Now, mind you, these things I've mentioned, some of them, especially the factory and other things, these are things that might not be a big deal to some of you, or other countries are doing it, other African countries have it, or what. But the reason why this one is different is the time frame. The time frame where these whole things are playing out. And that is why we keep saying that the Sahel leaders have exposed our so-called democratic leaders. Everything that our democratic leaders have said is not possible is possible now in the Sahel. So what magic is going on in the Sahel? Your Majesties, I'm going to leave you with some of the happenings, especially those of you who were not, who didn't watch some of the videos. I'll leave some of the videos, some of the clip towards the end of this video so that you watch them as well, you understand what I'm trying to say, and you leave your thoughts and opinion there at the section, Your Majesties.
Guys, at this point, it's now safe to call Captain Ibrahim Traore a true revolutionary and a true Pan-African. He distributed over 400 tractors to farmers in Burkina Faso. Despite all the economic challenges, this young man understands that the number one priority of every developing country is agriculture. According to my sources, his target is 1,000 tractors, so he's going to add additional 600 tractors. Look, the main reason why Traore came to power was not to build Burkina Faso economy. The main reason he came to power was to fight against terrorism. And he has achieved more than expectation. He has succeeded more than what we all expected him to do. Note, almost 1 million Burkina Faso citizens were displaced because of what these terrorist groups were doing in Burkina Faso. Over 650,000 people. And now, all of them are returning back to Burkina Faso. This is what we call true leadership. And a big thanks to Egypt. Egypt provided Burkina Faso with ammunition and vehicles to help them fight against this terrorist group. In fact, they've done well. Instead of AU and ECOWAS to help Burkina Faso, they are rather fighting against Burkina Faso. Ghana president is snitching. Look at what this young man is doing. He's distributing tractors, while somebody in Ghana here is building a church for God. Let me end it here before they block me.